his black horse out of the corner of her eye. The horse had a dark colored saddle with a red flag hanging from it. I don't, I won't do anything of the sort, the girl said. You will indeed, or you'll be burned at the stake, said the man. The man grinned before turning away and jumped on his horse. He whipped the horse, and it let out a loud neigh, and they darted off down the path into the darkness. The girl felt furious. How could this being have any authority over her? She was just a girl after all, never meant any harm. Wait until the witch hears this, she thought. She put the order in her pocket and laid back down to rest. What an ugly, mean, disgusting man. I can't believe he had the nerve to tell me what to do. And that mean man he calls king. Well, I bet he... The girl's mind raced as she drifted off to sleep. That night the girl dreamed of the forest and some of the animals, but something was different. The animals weren't all as nice as they once were. Some were, but others weren't. The bunnies were nice, but the bears were mean and nasty. She was dreaming about the deer right before she woke up. The deer was bringing her something in its mouth when the witch suddenly woke her up. Did you miss me? The witch asked. Witch, you wouldn't believe what just happened to me. It wasn't the king, was it? Said the witch. How did you know? Just a guess. The girl said, a nasty man came and gave me an order to appear at the king's courthouse. Otherwise, I'll be burned at the stake. The witch said, don't worry about it, girl. The witch goes on to say, just go to the court and have faith, and the right words will come out to set you free. Now let's go. You've got a lot to learn before you can just inherit the land. The witch spun around and her cloak twirled as she started to walk down the path. The girl jumped up and grabbed the bag of candy before taking off after the witch. Don't you see, little girl? I've been doing this a long, long time, and I know all the ins and outs of all the land. I'm the most powerful witch in all the land, and I know the king personally. The witch rambled on, but not all her words were as convincing and believable as before. The girl started to feel frustrated and agitated. She started to remember who she was before she ever met the witch, before she ever got sad, before she ever had someone else telling her what to do. She missed the forest and the animals, and thought to herself, well, I want to inherit the land, beat the king and his pawn, and be powerful and confident like the witch. But this witch doesn't know me. She doesn't even listen to me, and she always thinks she's right. The thoughts became irritating enough that she felt like speaking up. But then she remembered the candy and how good it made her feel. She thought, well, if I never needed candy before, so why should I need it now? There's nothing wrong with me, and there never was. Then the girl remembered those days she sat by the lake and cried, and how miserable she felt all alone. After all, there were no more animals to lick her tears away anymore. The girl smiled as she thought of the candy. I'll just replace the animals with the candy, she thought to herself as she reached in the bag. The witch glanced back almost as if she could sense what the girl was doing. She caught a glimpse of the girl eating the candy, but just kept talking. As the girl kept eating, the witch started sounding good again, and the girl felt happy again. The path was long and windy, and it winded all through the valley of the land. The land was beautiful, but it was different from the forest. The colors were different. There were purple and orange rocks everywhere, and the color-changing trees that were mostly black, but shimmered, reflecting the pink sky. The colors, the scenery, the animals would change, seemingly in direct correlation with what the witch said. If the witch said butterflies, the girl would see butterflies seconds later. If the witch said birds, birds would swoop down and around. It was exciting to listen to the witch. So much of what the witch said was encouraging, with loving promise of joy, happiness, peace, and power amongst the land. But what about that king? The girl said. Never mind that king, the witch said. You must ignore him, as he is evil and bitter and wants nothing but blood from all the people in the land. I'm worried about the order, the girl said. The witch stopped right in her tracks and turned back with an evil eye and an outraged face. If you're going to keep talking about that darn order, you can go back to the forest from which you came and tell all the animals about it. You can ask the animals what to do about it, what to do about the king, and maybe they'll tell you what to do. But he'll probably come and get you and kill you and your little animal friends, and then you can forget all about inheriting all this magical land. The girl was scared. She was scared of the king. She was scared of the witch, but she didn't want to lose her company. She wanted the witch to be her friend. The power of this land is magical, said the witch. And soon enough, you'll behold all the magic and power of all the biggest, and be the biggest witch upon the land if you keep doing the work and following my words, as I am the greatest, most powerful witch in all the land, who ever was. The witch kept talking and talking, while the girl reached for more candy. Her hand trembled so much that she could barely get it in the bag. She quickly ate some candy and then gasped, a deep breath of fresh air. She still didn't know what she was to do about the king's order. She didn't know what jail was, but it did not sound fun, and she definitely did not want to be burned at the stake. Maybe the right words would be sucked right out of her, like they were with the pawn. That would be great, she imagined, telling the king how it truly was, just like the witch tells her. Surely the king would listen to the witch. Sometimes I wish I were you, witch, said the little girl. The witch smiled and laughed and said, Oh, and why is that, might I ask? The girl